All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. Thought I would sit down, get a good chat with you, lovely people. I'm only streaming on YouTube today. Facebook, I've done too many of these lives. It doesn't want me doing any for now, so I've kind of blocked temporarily. But it makes sense. I've been putting up hours of lives every day. They're like, okay, that's enough. Because it limits you on that anyway, so they're serious about that. But if you guys would hit like as soon as you get in. And I'm probably going to do a pretty long one of these. I'm kind of caught up on everything I have to do this morning. Everything's in a good spot. I may be skipping the midday one for church. So 50-50 on that still. So we might not be doing one. So I'll get a nice long one of these in here today, and I'll just get lots of videos up. But because I'm going to be in here a long time, I'm probably going to be multitasking, right? I'm going to be multitasking. All right. Right. And yeah, so like I said, this will be a pretty long coffee chat. I think I may sit in here a while. And I can work on other things while I do it. So I'm going to hopefully have a nice long chat with all you lovely people. But I do need to get some other things up. If it's going to let me. There we go. Everything moving kind of slow. Computer's like, we only got 64 gigs of RAM. Why are we being so sluggish? All right. I'll make a group post and I will check back over and see if we have comments. Nobody in here yet. Well, give it a little time. These pick up pretty quick sometimes. It's actually been a decently strong segment, but the main thing is it lets me wake up, get coffee, multitask type to clients. All right. All right. Yeah, someone mentioned it in my comments yesterday, peppermint. I was like, yeah, you're a trendsetter. Because, that's the thing. Did you guys catch that with the Jeff Nipper thing? I promoted the 6 sets for quite a while, and then Jeff jumped up and did a 6-set program. It's like, are we serious? Plasma says, morning, y'all. Coach, if I'm programming singles for my main work, is low 90s too high, or should I be more conservative? It needs to be above 90. Sorry, guys, I had to sneeze. It's going to happen again. I don't know why I'm sneezing so much lately. I've dusted everything. I got a good clean filter. My filter is still clean. I put a new one in, and it doesn't have anything in it. I don't know why. I have no idea. Yeah. Oh, wow. Back over to your topic, plasma. No, you need to be at least 90% is your minimum. I like to do, for most of my guys, I like singles to be in the 90 up to about 96, 97% ballpark. All right. We don't want true maxes if we can avoid it in gym lifts, unless we're absolutely going for an all-out new PR. So that's about right. But under 90%, it's questionable if we're really getting the highest threshold motor units on that one rep. When we hit 90% and up, it's there's no question about it anymore. Right around that 90%. Makes sense? So in other words, if you're all out 100%, everything you have max is 500, you need to probably be above 450 in order to get all the available motor units to activate off of a single rep. But that's not an exact science. Let's be clear on that. That is not an exact situation where we can say that with absolute certainty. We just once you start getting above 90%, you're definitely into that safe zone plasma. Makes sense? All right. All right. Some other questions. Do narrow stance squats work the adductors and abductors less? Yes. However, is it enough to matter? So, Benjamin, that's like asking, does wide grip bench press work the triceps less? Yeah, a little bit. Still going to build them. Yeah, of course. Right. I'm going to take a full day off today. I'm not going to do any training today, Jill. All right. Yeah, added plus sets to my last work set to test my single percentages. Yeah, I'm right in line where I should be, just maybe being a bit too conservative on the volume. I hit 8 on what I thought was programmed for 5. Yeah, there you go. That's a good sign. But it's probably better to be a little more conservative on volume. Usually, if you're conservative on volume, you're going to PR more on your big lifts. Tell them, morning coach. Yeah, Rufio, tell them. Everyone rolling in, please drop your like. I just ain't building big abductors and adductors because you can't see abductors. Benjamin, you could train your abductors into the ground and you're not going to see it. You can't even see your abductor muscles unless you're like contesting. It's a smaller muscle than you think it is. You're not going to notice it. But as far as adductors go, here's the problem with that. If you don't want big adductors, you're going to have to stop all squatting and leg pressing, unfortunately. Because they grow the hell out of them. Mine are massive. That's been noted. I've had other lifters note in there. Some of the serious power lifters, one of them commented the other day on my Facebook. He's like, your adductors are like really huge. He's like, you don't even squat really wide, so I don't get it. So, yeah, adductors are a really big muscle. They're massive. But here's the thing, Benjamin. How much drugs are you using? Like, they're not going to get grotesque bodybuilders, serious grotesque, like you're thinking of, just from squatting. Even though squats grow them amazingly well. They grow them amazingly well. We know this in the research. Right? Keep your drugs under about 5 grams and they'll be okay. Don't go over about 2 grams of steroids a week. Right? They'll probably be okay. And stay away from insulin. So that's usually my advice, to keep adductors from getting grotesque, like you're thinking of on like the really serious bodybuilders. Don't go over 2 grams of steroids and don't use insulin in your drug stack would be my advice. They'll be okay. Now, all bets are off. You start hitting 5 grams of gear, you start throwing 300 units of insulin in a day, IGF-1, In other words, if you're shooting 2 whole bottles of testosterone every week and you're going through 2 bottles of insulin a week, um, it'll turn into a problem in the adductors. But keep your steroids limited and they won't get too big unless you just really hammer them. What makes you think? Because I know they are, Joel. I've been around it long enough, dude. And think about it from a business perspective. Why wouldn't they be? It doesn't even make sense, right? This is their livelihood. It doesn't even make sense for them to be natural. I'm trying to do, so here's my thing, guys. I want to do less banning and more ignoring, but I'm going to see if people can actually play along. The reason I have to ban is because people come in who troll too much and my regulars talk to them. So if I have a troll come through posting stalker stuff, right? All you guys stand there and talk to them and it dominates the whole conversation. So that's one of the reasons I have to get rid of them so that we can get back on topic. Does that make sense? That's just a historic problem. Everybody will stand there and talk to them and we won't have other topics. So, but no, I'm not going to vote on Peeper now. It's not like he's being malicious, All right. So I'm glad you see the viewpoint there, Joel. Like from a business perspective, it makes sense. Like it would be silly for them not to be. Speaking anecdotally, way more people on gear that not in looks-based industry. When I worked in the restaurants, most of the guys had done at least one cycle. Yeah. You could tell just by looking, but they would later confirm they knew jack squat about training, yet were quite jacked. I mean, and that's kind of the funny thing. I've met so many people who are not trainers. They don't compete in anything who do gear off and on. And that's a perfect example. Plasma. I don't think people understand how widespread and ubiquitous casual cycling is. Right? One guy denied it, was suspicious he had an MSRA infection in his butt. I wonder how he got a butt MSRA, poor injection hygiene, or dirty gear. I'd be too worried about my long-term test levels to run a cycle. Not returning back to baseline after coming off, right? Hey, Benjamin, he has a fitness channel. I don't need to Google him. Why do we need to Google him? We already know he's probably on gear. Why are you under the assumption that you have to look jacked to be on gear? Plenty of guys aren't really that jacked who cycle a bit here and there. Keep that in mind. Plus, it doesn't let me copy paste y'all stuff very well. Let me try. All right. I'm not even going to look at his pictures. I'm going to do it just to do it. And I'm just going to say, well, you spelled his name wrong. Yeah, he's on gear. Next. Yeah, I don't even need to look any further. All right, next. Anyone who uses any Photoshop, we just call it being on gear. Also on top of that. What do you mean how Rufio? Rufio didn't treat anybody anyway. EJ was pushing the limits, Dad. He was pushing the limits. You got to follow the rule. The law is the law, Dad. Hey, Dad, here's the thing now. The law is the law, bro. It's like I've told you before. Your dad, you know this. The textbook example I gave the other day. If you're in the house and the cat sees you accidentally push a dish off the bar or a base or a dish by accident, you have to spray yourself with a water bottle in front of the cat. Why? So that the cat knows that the law applies to everybody. Peter, you asking me would I go do a workout? I know I'm not interested in going and doing a workout at any specific gym. No, I'm good. I don't even know what Diamond Gym is. Don't even know. That the law applies to everybody. All right. What's the point of farmers' walks? All right. Yeah. EJ was out of line and he corrected himself. So that's the thing, Dad. Like EJ has apologized and he's going to do his best not to troll. And you know what? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. This is Jesus' day. I'm going to be forgiving. All right. Christian says, what's the point of farmers' walks? It's a form of general physical preparedness. It's conditioning work. But they also are fantastic for building grip in forearms and up a little with the upper back, with your core, other stuff. All right. It's not Saturday. It's not Saturday. It is a Sunday. If you don't do leg curls, are you leaving hamstring gains on the table? Probably not. Not if you're doing other stuff that pushes them hard enough. All right, guys. You know what? Coach got to get some coffee. I got to get more. We got to get coffee painted, guys. Pete says, would you ever join the Coast Guard? I don't know, Pete, would your mom ever join the Coast Guard? All right, we back. Coach Eno is back. Coach, the Coach Meister, Coach Arumbo. I thought one hamstring head doesn't cross the hip and therefore right. So when you're dealing with this situation with the biceps femoris. All right, are you ready, Joel? It does get partial activation, and here's the other thing that we have to talk about is a radiation effect. Okay. Just because a muscle is not getting primarily work doesn't mean that intensities and workloads get high enough it doesn't get recruited. Note the data looking at the bench press and the long head of the tricep. What happens on EMGs when we start getting really heavy or reaching failure on the bench press with the long head of the tricep? Right. Hey, Pete, I'm being funny. So you are correct, Joel, when we're talking about again the proximal versus distal end of a biarticulated movement pattern, such as a hip hinge. You're technically correct. However, it still gets activation. And again, what we find with any of these muscles, even the heads that don't get 100% range of motion activation, still get activated as we get really close. And this is why I tell guys, if you're training hard enough, especially if you're doing two different exercises for a muscle, you're training with sufficient volume into failure or very, very, very close to failure, this stuff starts to go away, right? These differences and concerns start to diminish dramatically. All these conversations that we're having about different heads and different exercises being optimal are working under the assumption that we're doing extremely low volume and several reps away from failure. Okay. So, yeah, especially when you start reaching failure, and especially when multiple exercises go into the equation, Joe. Makes sense? So, we can argue these points on different things with the chest and triceps. But what happens when you start doing two different movements? So let's say you start doing bench press and weighted dips in the same week or the same workout, and you're taking sets to failure or 0 reps in reserve, like you're grinding a little on the last rep. Do you really think there's any part of, again, if you look at data, look at what happens with the EMGs, look at what happens in hypertrophy studies. As the volume starts scaling upward and you start hitting 5, 6, 7, 8 sets a week, 10 sets for a muscle group, in terms of these multiple compounds, there's nothing really being unstimulated. Anything that you're doing beyond that is you're chasing that last 1%. Or that last 2 or 3%. You might look at it and say, okay, no, it's only going to give 97%. The 6 sets once a week might be a little less due to total uptime and muscle protein synthesis. So this is the problem with a lot of these ideas. And I'm not saying we shouldn't care or shouldn't know about the functions of these different heads with movements. We should. But when it comes to a practical situation, we really are chasing a tiny amount. Benjamin. Hey, Benjamin, hypothetically, it's going to get some. So we need to be clear. We're not saying it doesn't get any stimulus. All right. We're saying it's going to be a partial in theory, but that is one of those heads that it doesn't seem to get overly developed just from squatting any way you break it down. All right. Sephiroth, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. So again, there's a lot of nuance in these conversations, and I think what people are forgetting with a lot of this too, you have to factor in, why are you training? Like, are we trying to compete in bodybuilding? So in other words, what are your goals with all this development? Are you just trying to have the best physique in the room? Or are you trying to etch out that very last detail to earn your pro card as a bodybuilder? And I feel like a lot of people, when they're chasing these things, they're no, weather hasn't come by in a while. Weather dropped $300 or $400 total. Yeah, it's been a few years. He dropped like 140 in a single super before. He gave me like 200 in 1 week or more, something like that. It was pretty big. I think the biggest super chat I've had this year was 65. You know, but I think people have to keep that in context. You know, are you trying to just have the book? Like, the average person is not going to see the difference. Guys are always asking about, can I finalize about this last head? You know, okay, but no one's going to see it, right? At that level, we are talking about literally impressing a bodybuilding judge standing side by side next to another serious competitor. Outside of that side by side context, no one is going to notice. No one is going to notice that extra 1/20th of an inch that you added to that head by really focusing on it. Does that make sense? No one's going to see it until you are literally stood next to another competitive bodybuilder shredding, and it's side by side comparison with judges. No one else is going to notice it. You're not even going to see it in the mirror. All right. Is it necessarily bad to good morning a squat, or does it? Yeah, you'll flip over. Yeah. Once you get real weight on the bar, a good morning squat is automatic mislift. All right. So if the squat actually good mornings, once you got real weight on the bar, you'll fail the rep. It's bad. You're gonna get stapled. All right. Like, for you to push through anything over your own body weight, if it slips into that, man, you better be real strong. Or you're gonna miss. So that's the concern. All right. What is the irradiation effect? Is the idea that other muscle heads, if you push hard enough, get worked also. The same concept of squeezing the hell out of the bar, causing a higher neural drive, say in your chest and triceps on the bench, for example. Right. Okay. Dad, please come and never donates. Coach, hey, Sephiroth, that's a good point, man. Dad, why you never drop money? No, I don't do. I only do PG stuff there, and I actually only do foot pictures on OnlyFans. It's not super lucrative, and I'm actually serious. I sell foot pictures now. That's my whole gig. The fact that I do all my training barefoot and have muscular feet, apparently, and all my running barefoot is apparently giving me really muscular feet, and people like that. I'm actually dead serious too. I'm really and truly not yanking your chain. I am flat, full on, swear to God serious. On a Sunday. So that's all I do. I only do foot pictures. That's it. It's a real thing. Hey Benjamin, yeah, I already said. I just took a glance. Dude, it's not natty. Done. Plasma, deadlift, belt squat, press, closer to bench press, seal rows, clean press. That's good stuff. Good exercises. It happens every time I get a grindy 1 rep max on the squat. My 1 rep max right now is 185. Maybe not legit though, as I get too much lean forward. Well, the only concern with a good morning squat is that you're going to miss the lift. Like that's the concern. But if you can get morning 500 pounds, it doesn't matter as far as any of that goes, as Louis Simmons said. Joel says, I currently do high bar squat, RDL, weighted dip, seated, dumbbell shoulder press, weighted chin-ups, weighted inverted rows. That's also why the other day when someone on here said, hey, could you show your feet up to the camera? I'm like, no, because that's not fair to people who pay me for foot pictures. It really isn't. So if you want foot pictures, you're going to have to go to OnlyFans. So I'm not putting my foot up to the camera. All right. Apparently, I've been told I have really, really sexy feet. All right. Good day, Coach. You're making my day with these daily live streams. Did you change your channel's name? Yeah, no. So I changed it about a decade ago. So notice my plaque and the check mark. That's under this new name. I've had that for a decade. What's the difference between a Pendlay row versus a seal row? Lower back involvement. All right. So are you talking in terms of muscle activation, or do you mean what's the difference in how you do them? I'm going to assume you know what the exercises are. The Pendlay row is going to have much more lower back and posterior chain activation. The seal row takes them out. Right. Yeah. At this point, my lower back and posterior chain are so strong, I don't even bother. I just set up the Pendlay. I mean, I do sets of 15 with 225 on the Pendlay row. There's a point where I just go, does it even matter? In fact, I think I'm going to start doing my Pendlay rows with the fat bar for a bit. But I may not. I don't know. I might flip the bar back over. But I love chest supported rows of all types. I can push way harder with as much. Seeing for me, it doesn't matter. What's better for skull crushers, normal barbell, easy bar? You're going to find an easy bar a lot easier on you. It's going to be a lot smoother. And I hate to say that because I like the barbell for everything, but the easy bar feels so much more natural of a movement pattern on a skull crusher. Because my original channel was called Ice Cream Fitness, Joel. So say it out loud. Stop and say the name. The three names, the 3 words there, right? That was the name of the channel. Say it out loud. You want me to say it? I scream fitness. It was a play on words. Hey, Patty, alcohol is deadly. All alcohol, even in moderation, is horrible for you. Why are you waiting this long to ask me why I'm not doing the indoor biking anymore? I mean, you should have asked it back when I quit doing it, when I explained. You're kind of late to the party, dude. The general pain in the butt to set up, and I just don't burn as much energy as I can doing other things. I've added one lap kayak around the lake once a week just to sweeten it. Yeah, that's good. I mean, just adding extra activity. Yeah. Because I took up running more and more, and I didn't need the really, really low lifts. I only ran twice this week, though. I'll get more in this coming week. And as far as all my different cardios go, we can only allocate so much recovery to cardio depending on how hard we're lifting. All right. Says, I am Peterbilt Pete, so just change my name. Okay. What? I never heard David say he got injured on it. He spoke highly of the program. To my knowledge, David Lade gave props to the program. But dudes be getting hurt on hard training. It's kind of strange, man. And I hate to say it, but man, this generation is soft. Like, because dudes grew up so sedentary, they can't handle real training in their 20s. The 1.0, yeah. No, he ran it. He always gave props to it, to my knowledge. I never heard him say anything bad about it. It was my understanding he admitted he built his base on it, and he shouted it out. You know. Yep. No, I didn't say that, Joel. No, yeah, you're definitely mistaken. Are pull-ups superior for lats compared to chin-ups? Oh man, what a point of contention. Benjamin, I'm going to go with yes to a very, very small degree. Okay. To a very small degree. Right? I think pull-ups are better for lats, though, like middle and lower lats, more than anything. Good morning, Psych. Yeah. You know. But that being said, if you're doing your chins from a full stretch, the scapular coming apart, you get stronger, but you're still going to build big lats. Any sort of pull-up variation put into a lengthened position is going to build really good lats. Ever thought about doing something other than coaching? Why would you ask such a silly question? There is no skill that I possess that could ever make the amount of money that I make with my coaching. Particularly in a good year. I possess no other skills that have the income potential, including even my industrial mechanic work from the past. That was my table creaking review, I think. I have a glass table that I use for a desk. Yeah, it didn't make anywhere near, dude. No. Nope. And that's actually hard work in a bad environment, and it makes less money than my coaching does on an average year. So no, I possess. So it's kind of a silly question. Like so to answer your question, I would have to go learn a whole new skill to make the sort of money anywhere near that. So no, I've never considered it all. Right. Your living dream, being able to make your passion your income source. Exactly. Which is why it's so strange when someone says, um, why would you go do something else when I've turned my passion into a living, and my best years doing this have made more money than at any other point in my life doing other things by significant margin. So that's kind of really a dumb question. I mean, not being mean, but it is, you know. What do you mean, do I invest money in tools? I have very few tools right now. In fact, all my tools got stolen at one time. Hey, Joel, I don't care what games you use to play. I think video games. So I'm not going to answer that because I think video games are generally a waste of time, and I'm not going to encourage them. So again, not being mean, just since I think men are generally less productive when we play video games, I'm not going to encourage them. I'm going to go down the list. Sean, I really would rather minimize PED questions. You need to hire me if you want PED questions. And that's just how it needs to be. Like, I'm not going to do something that I charge money for like that, and potentially problematic for my algorithm as well, for free. You can get me in $100 call if you need help with your drug stat. I've lost about at least $1,000 in tools. All my Proto and Snap-on stuff got stolen out of my truck years ago. They broke the locks on my toolbox and cleared it out. Yeah, no. So it's cool, Sean. So I'm just letting you know. But I mean, my gym, that's my tools. Hey, Rufio. Sean, the internet didn't exist. How would there be trolls if there's no real internet? I mean, there was internet, but it's not like today. I don't discuss economics at all, Benjamin. I've told you guys repeatedly that. Yeah, and that's too personal. Where do you buy? I don't have a specific place. Different places. I got a really good deal online on my sectional couch, actually. So I have a really big sectional, and I think I got it from a place called Living Spaces. All right. So everything that I have came from a different place. My rugs are all from different sites. My bed came from a different. Actually, I got my bed off Amazon. If I'm just gonna be honest, I don't have any secondhand furniture. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Protofan to try and get them whenever I find a good price. Yeah, but I had a full like proto set, and I'm talking over 20 years. So we're talking like 23 years ago, 25 years ago prices, right, or more. I probably dropped $500-600 in proto at the time, and then I had a bunch of Snap-on stuff, and I mean I had a whole truck toolbox full, like the ones that sit in the bed, like up by the cab, and someone broke in and took all of it. You know where it happened? In a Lowe's parking lot. I don't know what Blue Apron is. When you started training, no, we didn't have that problem, Jill. When I was taught how to work out, my first workout was squats, bench press, and power cleans. Let me make that clear. As an adult, into doing real gym stuff, not other stuff when I was younger, a kid, when I got in and someone taught me how to train. One of my cousins who played football. Actually, two of my cousins taught me. They took me to the gym. So yeah, I was straight up given like football programs, like we squat. So I used to do Widowmakers. My first year, like when you think of the 20 rep breathing squat, the super squat stuff, that's how I trained. At least once a week I came in and did Widowmakers or just maxed out on squats and stuff. One of my cousins coaches for the 49ers right now. He's won Super Bowls. And it's common knowledge that he's my cousin. His mom was a Blaha. His mom is my dad's sister. So it's pretty common. I thought it was common knowledge. Like it's not something you guys can't, you can just go look it up. Like, oh shit, he's actually really serious. Like, he's just not trolling. Yes, Sean, you need to turn your camera on for a video call. I'm not doing that whole, yeah. That's just silly. No, he played for the Seahawks. That was one of his teams. No, he coached for first Prairie View A&M, and then I'm going to get this wrong. All right, I'm trying to think who got him next. The Detroit Lions. He coached for them for a while, and then the Dolphins picked him up as a coach, and then the 49ers. And I think his second year coaching for the 49ers, they went to the Super Bowl. Yep. Yes, I've been to Atlanta. All right. I took a weightlifting class in high school taught by the football coach, and that's genius. Ever taught to squat? Looking back, what a wasted opportunity. Wow. He never taught you guys to squat. Do you think it's okay if adults over the age of 25 still watch The Simpsons? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Yeah, my first workout was squats, bench press, and power cleans. So no, I never had the F-arounditis problem. I've never actually seen the show The Biggest Loser. I know what it is, but I've never actually watched it. And I don't know the name of anyone who's ever been on it. So I don't know if I've ever met anyone who's been on it. It's possible I could know someone who was on it and not be aware because I don't know who's been on it. Makes sense? I mean, I might. All right. I might. It's possible. It's hypothetically possible I could know someone who's been on it. Do fat grips eliminate need for axle bar? I mean, you can do more stuff with an axle bar, so no. On the things that you use them on, do they replicate the axle bar? Yeah. You know. All right. Okay, Sephiroth. People use axle bars for all sorts of pressing, cleans, rows, everything. No, I don't hate Muslims, Sean. Sean, we're right back over to Sean. Remember we had this conversation already, and we gave a warning, and you agreed not to do stuff like that. Do you not remember that promise you made, and I gave you another chance? A last warning. And you knew good and well when you typed that you broke your promise. Sean, I want you to admit that you knew you broke your promise. That when you typed it, yeah, Sean's admitted he's on the spectrum. So you would have been like 50 times already. Yeah, exactly. But he's admitted he's on the spectrum. So he needs to take a social behavior class. He needs to have his therapist work with him. Talk to Psych. She can help you if she's in here. Because I called it already. I've said from this before. I asked him, not trolling, like, are you on the spectrum? Are you autistic? And he said, yeah, he actually is. So it makes sense. Like his behavior is consistent with it. Psych, she's in here probably listening. She's actually got a PhD in psychology, apparently. Yeah. How about Joel? I don't repeat what he just said. Sean doesn't understand social cues. Right. Favorite bar, my Texas Power Bar. It's just the most versatile. Right? That is my favorite bar. Brings so much to the table. Like a really good standard power bar like that is probably the best thing you could have in your collection. If I can only pick 3 exercises, I'm going to take let me think it through. We're going to rack the slide and we're going to pull the trigger on the person, limiting me to 3 exercises so that I can do 20. How's that sound? The person who's restricted me to 3, we just get rid of them. Done. Best first bar for home gym, Texas Power Bar, or like maybe a Rogue equivalent, or if you got real money in a Lico or something like that. You don't mind dropping $1,000 on the barbell. All right. I mean, I have some strengths as Sean. He's worked as a bouncer, quite a decent pharmacy worker. He can hold a job, and customers like me, and my boss likes how I work. Okay, yeah. Well, true. You said I did keep you from going with the kooky bee, and some Bill says, "How are you, Coach?" I'm doing good, man. How you feel? Why are you kind of depressed, man? Best first rack with very limited space. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're going to have to just find one. So rather than ask me, I can't go look up measurements for you in the middle of a live stream. You're going to have to go to rogue sites and other places and literally look up measurements. Now, if you want me to help you pick one in a call, that's a professional service. So we need to get into a consultation call. If you need me to go down with you with a website and help you pick equipment, that is a service I do offer in consultations. But I'm not going to leave a live stream to go look at websites and start pulling up measurements and give advice back and forth for your space. Well, Titan's decent enough. I don't know that I'd want them for my main rack, though. I guess it depends on how strong you're going to get. Which exercise produces better strength carrier to everyday activities in sports, bench press, or dips? Benjamin, we could argue that all day long. I mean, because dips move the body through space, maybe athleticism, but the bench press works really well too. Right. Well, Phil, why don't you go get a wife then? Go find the right woman. There you go. So, you're single, no kids. So are you doing stuff right in your life? Then you'll attract women, right? Get your stuff together, bro. No, Sean, I didn't see anything about a bully now. And we don't need to worry about you getting revenge on a bully. We don't need any of that. Did you ever watch No. Right. Man. You know what, guys? I think Coach needs to refill his coffee. See, I can't relate to that, Sean, because we didn't have phones. Right. Hey, Phil, just be aware you may be coming across as a shit poster, because, by the way, those are things that my haters literally make videos about. So just be aware. You might be trying to troll me. Right. But yeah, health, happiness. You got a career you enjoy. Do you have other hobbies you enjoy? Are you a valuable member of your community? So are you any of the things that define a man? Are you a protector, provider, or mentor? Those are your 3 roles as a man. Now, you may not have a wife and kids then, or even a girlfriend and kids. You may not be being a provider, but are you a protector and mentor? That's important. All right, I'm going to get coffee. Hit the light, guys. I'll be right back. All right, we back. We'll go back to bed, except we're all good, man. Yeah, dress with missing field, exactly. All right. So if his social life and finances are good, hey, great. So here's my thing, Bill. You're not happy. You said single and you're not happy about it. So your social life is good and you're financially sound. So why are you single? That would be something to address. Maybe Phil needs some challenges in his life. Right. Joel's got good advice. I don't remember. Hey, Sean, I got like this shirt in 8 or 9 colors at different days. I went in and bought several of them. And so one of my exes really liked them too. So we just kept going back. I don't remember what store. I don't know. It was from some store here in Houston. Uh, Oh, something keeping you from getting a relationship solid. Well, that's something worth addressing. So you have no trouble attracting women, Phil. Right. Do you think it's no? No, it's only if the balls touch, Benjamin. You don't know the rule, man. Oh gosh. Um, let's see. Have you ever dressed up in a white tie or black tie? No, I don't like white or black ties. She said, "True women care less if a man is handsome more than men care." They care not to the degree that we do. Women care, but they don't care about looks at the same level of priority that men do. Makes sense, right? It's a lower priority. Like let's put at the top of the list of what women go for. Okay, men tend to view looks first. Like women care about, do you make them feel safe? Straight up, that is the number one thing. That's the top of the list. And that could be a very general number of factors that could cause that. Right? She wants to feel safe with a dude. Like, if she feels safe with you, um, like you're in a good place there if that happens. They're attracted to any type of security, just hardwired for it biologically. And if you have all types, then you're really golden. So if she feels, because there's different types of security and all of them can produce a sense of safety. So when dudes talk about the money, they mean, does she feel financially secure? But there's physical security, there's emotional security. Now, if you bring all three to the table, she's not going to turn loose at you. So if a woman gets all three types of those security out of a man, dude, she's not letting you go. So if she feels emotionally, physically, and financially safe with you, you really have to truly screw up for her to even be willing to let you go. She'd be chasing you, not letting you get away. So just the way it is. Mm. Uh, what was it? What was it like bad boys? Sounds like Phil's struggling to provide emotional security. Yeah. I did really well in an acting class I took, actually. I took a drama class once and did pretty well at it. No, I never thought about being a serious. I could be. I'm really good at voices and imitations. People think are hilarious. I do a lot of them here, and then people laugh. Like, I did one the other. One of my friends posted something from that one skit about the Criddle Jail, and I posted a little thing. You got to get the Criddle Jail. It's the best thing for your nail, right? For those who know that, that comedian. I would have to study Cassidy's voice to get it. I'm good with accents like that, though, so I can pick up an accent really quick. No, but I used to do a really good Bill Clinton impersonation. I'm just sitting up here like a boll weevil on a log talking to a dog in heat. I haven't done that in 20 years. Oh my God, it just popped out of nowhere. Hail to the chief, as President Bill Clinton. I got Monica Lewinsky under this desk. You know what I mean? All right. I'm on a dry spell myself too, Bill. No, I'd have to study Trump for a while to do a proper impersonation. I've never been to Pennsylvania, no. No, never been to Pennsylvania. Can full body 2 times a week work as well as 3 days? I want you to think through that question. Saying, can it work or can it work as well? Well, objectively, no. Can it work pretty good in a pinch? Yeah. Yeah. But realistically, you're only lifting weights twice a week is never going to give you quite the same, you know. You get pretty good results. Uh, What's my favorite color? So, hey, Sean, while we're going down that list of questions, you should also ask me what my first car was, what my mother's maiden name was, what my first elementary school was, and the name of my first boss, the name of the first concert I went to, name of my first pet, right? No, it's all good, straight edge, definitely. While we're going to go down the road, like getting my security questions. Hey, Sean, that's a standard security question. Do you need the last 4 digits of my social security number also? Hold on, let me compile all this data for the live stream. Oh man. Oh Lord. I'm being serious. Think about that for a minute, Sean. That's an actual security question that's done on stuff. All right. What happened? It had an error, guys. Hold on. It's bringing me back up. Are you guys still here? Can you see me? Can you hear me? But that's the thing, guys. You have to, you got to find a one that matches your lifestyle then, guys. Yeah, it totally shut the camera off. Like it had a big error in the middle of the screen, and I had to reload the whole chat. All right. Most recent movie I've seen, I can't think off the top of my head. I don't know. I can't remember the most recent movie I've seen. I actually really don't know. Yeah. I might have had playing in the background in the living room while I was doing some. I think I might have had the Transformers one with the dinosaurs playing in the background. Right. The Last of the Knights or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I feel that too. Entirely possible. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, guys, you got to find women of a compatible lifestyle and mindset. That's the thing. You know. So what do we got going on? Let's come back over. The best form is focus on what matters. You excel, succeed, women will come. You can't, yeah. You can lose a lot of success chasing women, but you won't lose women chasing success. Exactly. I agree with Plasma. Right. I'm thankful Coach has the time to stream so much for us every day. These talks are great. Awesome. Glad it is. I am multitasking though, guys. I am having to be in Messenger and make posts. But that's why I can do these a long time. Right? That's why I can do these a long time. It's because I can multitask while we do them. So it lets me sit in here longer with you guys. So, no, they don't love unconditionally. Why would you? Why do you think a woman is going to love you unconditionally? That's just ridiculous. Men are never going to be loved unconditionally. Society is not going to love you unconditionally, ever. So men have to get over this, and this is the thing that guys have to understand, and they have to accept this and then build off of it. Okay. Men hold no intrinsic value to society at all. Society is harsher on men. Okay. And when I make this statement, I'm not making a woe is me. I am telling you guys reality. And the sooner you accept this reality as men, the easier and better and more productive your life is going to be. Men have no intrinsic value to anybody other than their mother. That's it. Right. I mean, I stream a lot already. Morning, Jason. What's up, Ryan? She was in here earlier. She said hello, but she may not still be in here. What's up, Ryan? Good morning, bro. The thing is, on the streaming, I'm always multitasking. So that's people have to remember. It's not like it's the only thing we're doing. I'm literally chatting with clients, friends, other people, make posts. So, but yeah, so it works out well. I can chat with you guys while doing other stuff that's important that I need to get done. Plus, these get me clients. Like I sell consultations and clients literally in streams. So it works really well. I mean, Ryan's a perfect example. Ryan, textbook example. Did I not sell you on coaching in a live stream? Like you were already a fan, but then I talked him into it and he applied and came on. We were having a conversation like, dude, I'll coach you and fix this. He's like, all right. Boom. So, I mean, streaming is good all around for business. Should I alternate which muscle group I train first, chest or shoulders on push day so one doesn't have? No, do not do that, Michael. As a general rule, there can be exceptions. Generally speaking, though, I'm going to go with probably not. Now, do I have occasional clients who, because we do a bench and an overhead press alternating, one of them does do dips, for example, just body weight high rep dips at the end of the other workout. Yeah, because he does dips on both days. So I have a guy right now who we do dips as kind of his main accessory. So he does it for body weight for high reps on all the workouts. But in his full body, I do alternate overhead press and bench. But it's because we're caring about the specific lifts. But generally, just with hypertrophy, probably not. Like I would not tell you to overhead press and then flat bench or incline. That wouldn't be reasonable, Michael. No. Right. Ryan's right. Yeah, I'll get you cock diesel, Jack. Yeah, we chatted one-on-one because it was a slow morning, and Ryan and I chatted during one of the walking ones, like on Facebook, and boom, he's been a really solid client. We've been making great progress. No, the keep the body guessing isn't real. That's BS. By keep the body guessing, should you add a rep? Should you add 5 pounds here or there? That's how you keep it guessing. Progressive overload. How many sets do you typically do? For me, depends on the exercise. Right now, I'm only doing 2. So I was doing 3 on a lot for a while. I do 1 to 2 per exercise for me personally. There you go. Ryan can feel free to answer any that he wants. Ryan's pretty disciplined as it is. But what he gets is progress. He had stalled. He was losing strength on a cut. And I got him making gains again. He's getting stronger. And he's almost at the 100-pound weight loss mark. But yeah, feel free to answer that if you want, Ryan. It's all good, man. He's about to go run, though. Ryan's about to run. So don't let my question keep you from running. No, he's already probably running. Now he's out doing his run. He's up hitting it early. All right. For me, it's about performance. I like making gains. Yeah. And what do you prefer, a movie night or a TV show? Probably a TV show. All right. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think that's the point. Brian went from losing strength to gaining strength on his cut. So he was benching like high 200s again, down to there. And our goal we set was to bench 315 at 220 this year. So he's in the high 220s now, and we were benching 315 several times already. We've been doing it regularly again as of the last week. So we're almost at our goal for the year, and it's October. But you got to lose about 7 pounds, Ryan. 7 to 8. Where do you get 227 or 228 now? So he was 320. He's down almost 100. So for this year, the goal is to get down to 220 and to bench 315, so 228. So we're 8 pounds away from target weight. We're at the bench goal. He does training maxes, by the way, every workout. And then we do volume for hypertrophy. It's what I have him doing. So he's pulling 460 and benching 315 every workout. We're doing box squats instead of back squats at the moment. It's in the high 300s. So he does that every session. We hit a quick single, and then we do hypertrophy work on accessories after. But he's down to 228. So when he gets to 220 with that 315, no, because he doesn't have time to get enough footage for vlogs. He gives me, I put some of his singles up. I put up the benching and other stuff sometimes. Right. I put up his first 315 bench again. I think I put it up already in a short. So, but all his supplemental work is weighted chins, weighted dips, front squats, reverse hypers. Right. Did you ever cook the boards you used to know? No, it burned them. I will lift until I can no longer lift. When I'm either dead or the nursing home refuses to let me have a squat rack, I will stop lifting. Yeah. Hey, Beyond, I've already told you guys repeatedly, I don't eat. I don't eat barrel hogs. They're disgusting. What do you mean? How much of the, like? No, you need to talk to your doctor about that, Sean. Are you asking for a size range? It's going to be pretty vast range. I mean, I've killed over 50 feral hogs inside of 2 years before. So, I mean, are you wanting the average range, or what are you looking for? 20 up to about 150, 160 pounds ballpark. I might have got a 200-ish here or there. No, I didn't eat them. We drug them into a ditch and burned them. Especially, I got 8 of them in one day before. So just drug all 8 into a ravine, and you just burned them to keep disease from spreading to your cattle. Oh, so you need to go Google this. Beyond. All right, you're going to go down a whole rabbit hole. You could spend the whole day researching this, the whole Texas feral hog situation. The state literally encourages you to exterminate them. They're invasive. Yeah, they're no indigenous pigs to North America. No, so they're a hybridized species. We have a bunch of idiots brought in a bunch of Russian boars for game hunting that escaped and bred with everything from the large whites that were in captivity to some javelinas and stuff. Other things have all been mixed. So it's a big hybridized mix that we have here, and it's an invasive species. They destroy property. They attack people. They're overall a problem. So, and they bred out of control. So the state many, many, many years ago, no, I've never been to Russia. So many years ago, the state removed all restrictions. This the only animal they allow you to spotlight hunt. It's you totally are screwed. You get spotlight hunting anything else. You require no hunting license. Beyond what? That doesn't even make sense. Do you ever want? exterminating pests on your family property in your 20s is do you win awards for that? I Yeah, helicopter hunts are legal here for feral hogs. That's just like the weirdest question I think I've had on this topic. Do you win awards for exterminating pests on your family property in your 20s? Is what I'm reading. Like, what? I guess the closest thing I got was, well, it's a good thing you're clearing these nasty son bitches out. I mean, that's as good as it got. Let's go get some more of them tomorrow. I'll go help you. Um, no, dude, nobody cares what ranchers and farmers are doing on their family land. Is what no. That's just very strange. I don't know what to think about that. Right, right. I mean, technically, my father owned 50% of it. Um, yeah, what a weird. Let's get back to related training questions. Thoughts on best rep says frequency on the reverse hyper. I like 25s. Hmm. In any event, guys, I'm gonna be right back. I need coffee. No, dude, you go out there with an AR or an AK and you just plow all of them in the field. That's generally how it works. Dude. It's like get them before they reach the fence line. All right. All right, we're back. All right. He's not answering though. He couldn't see it. But if that's your jam, there's room for personal preference here. It just isn't necessary. I don't even know what he asked, guys. Reverse hypers, though, I like 20 to 25. All right. All right. Do you need glute and hamstring isolation, coach? No, you don't need it. It can have its place, but you don't need it. I don't know what cereal crunch. I don't know what you're talking about beyond belief. That sounds like some sort of junk food. Cereal crunchers. They're supposedly. I don't know what that means, dude. Can't you just eat fruits, grains, and vegetables? Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I've done. I don't know that you can really isolate glutes. I don't think there is such a thing as a glute isolation, like a real effective. Keep in mind, you can't really isolate muscles, though. Just put that in mind. It's isolation is a concept. It's a benchmark. It's not an actual thing. Does that make sense? All right. So understand that isolating a muscle is a philosophical bodybuilder idea. It's not actually biologically possible. Beyond, they taste absolutely disgusting and they smell disgusting and they have parasites. I don't know why you would want to eat one of these nasty things. I don't comprehend why you would eat this. I know people who do, don't get me wrong. I know people who eat them. I don't know why you would gag that nasty stuff down. Like, have you ever smelled one? So, Biala, have you ever smelled a feral hog? You know, plasma point out, yeah. People add other stuff. They're really lean. But wild game in general is lean. Like there's no fat on wild animals. Like people forget this. So that the whole keto carnivore thing is insane. No, so you seem to know. Oh, they're revolting. I mean, keep in mind this was a long time ago. So context. I try to think of the last time I did it. I was probably 26 years old. 25, 20, in that range. This is over 20 years. But they're absolutely revolting. Like I don't know why you'd want to eat one. You asked me, I don't know. I literally don't remember the first time we got a feral hog. I got my first deer at 7. I got a whitetail at 7. I don't remember what age I popped my first feral hog. Yeah. What? Beyond, you're just a serious troll, dude. I'm about to get. You're weird. I'm not going to ban you, but you're just really weird, dude. All right. What's it like living in Texas versus East Cape for freedom and standard of living? Dramatic differences. The standard of living and cost of living is dramatically better in Texas. Freedoms are way higher, unless you're into alcohol. Like the UK has the most crazy alcohol freedoms I've ever seen in my life. Everything else, though, yeah, you're beyond. That's an insane assumption. Uh, yeah, like that's not only a strange assumption. That is keeping in mind the few of us who ever did the knife hunting. Everyone thinks we're crazy. Just an FYI. All right. Will I get injured if I only train compounds? No, absolutely not, Sigma. No. No. So beyond belief, let me be clear. The short period of time, the little bit of the knife hunting I did, my whole family thought I was completely nuts. Just in case you were unaware. They're like, that's crazy. I usually use, so plasma, good point. Yes, you carry a backup. My backup was usually a 357 mag with super hot hand loads, usually with hard cast lead because I wanted the skull penetration. Like super, super hot hand loads. So you carry that as a backup. And yes, I did have to use it. And yeah, so when you do the knife hunting, people think you're nuts if you do it. They're like, dude, you're a freaking straight psycho. It's crazy. So just so that you're aware, it's not normal. It's not common. Well, that was why I did it. I was dumb and young, and my idea was, I'm like, so when people ask me what was my mindset, and I say, look, in retrospect, I was stupid. I was really dumb, right? But my mindset was, I'm bored of shooting these things. Like just getting really boring and old. I'm gonna go hunt them on foot with a Bowie knife because then I'm like, one, it'll be really badass, guys. I'm like 24 years old, right? I'm like 24 or something. Like deadlifting 500 pounds. I'm like, it would be really badass if I just went and hunted these things with a knife. I'm like, it'll prove that I'm an apex predator, the top of the food chain. That was literally my mindset. It's pretty dumb, to be fair. You do? No, I don't do any rotator cuff work. That's good. You're able to check in retrospect and own up to honest. So let me be clear. I look back and go, wow, you were a stupid kid. Wow. Like, what were you thinking? Because it is dangerous. It's dangerous and it's dumb. And yes, I did have to use the backup. Explosiveness. What type of stuff do you carry over? I mean, speed work. I mean, I do the throws. I do jumping. Moose or grizzly bear, which one is scarier? That's a tough call. Just to be clear, like a fully grown moose, like an adult male, is an extremely dangerous animal, Benjamin. But I mean, we're talking about a grizzly too. I don't know, honestly. I don't really want to tangle with either one of those. Obviously, I would eat more. I would eat you if I had no other choice. All right. So notice how easy I said that. Right. How much you think Thor's max is? I don't. Well, what do you mean? We've seen all of Thor's training. We've seen his powerlifting numbers and his strongman numbers. This is not even subject to debate. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard moose. Some people say moose tastes good. I've heard bears doesn't taste good at all. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If you have to tangle with either one and you're not able to put it down, I think either one is probably going to kill you if it's after you. So it's like, which one is scarier? I mean, I don't know, man. Dead is dead. I suppose the grizzly bear is more likely to be, but moose can be, I've heard moose can be pretty aggressive though. Right. And they are really big. They're big. Elk tastes great. Elk tastes great. I have hunted one elk and she was delicious. We got hundreds of pounds of meat. No, I don't eat any seafood or fish ever. So I've never eaten shark. Males in rut are super territorial. They will chase you down. Huh? Okay, fair enough. I guess the ultimate hunt would be the polar bear. All right, because they'll hunt you. They're the biggest, most aggressive bears, and they literally hunt humans. No, I've never seen a grizzly bear outside of the zoo before. I've seen a grizzly bear in a zoo. Does that count? I've never seen a bear outside of a zoo personally. So now I've seen, as far as dangerous animals I've seen out in the wild, I mean, coyotes. I've popped a few different coyotes. I've seen bobcats. I've seen one cougar. Obviously rattlesnakes. Obviously feral hogs, alligators. Any mountain lions where you live? Occasionally, they do come through. They're relatively rare, but they do exist. And my dad actually shot one when I was a little kid, by the way. And yes, he collected. There were bounties on him at the time due to the livestock in the area. So my dad actually got one when I was really, really little. Bear versus hippo. What type of bear? Are we talking polar bear? I think a hippo is probably more dangerous than a grizzly. Push come to shove, I think it's probably going to tip it out. Now, are we talking polar bear? Right. Yeah. Coach, I'm in a bad mood. I was on the date 3 hours ago and I held hands as always. But this time she says, "Ew, you sweat a lot." And I was so ashamed. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't worry about it. Don't be worrying about that. Limitless. Well, just wipe your hand next time, man. To that or a water buffalo. No, hippos are definitely dangerous. No, don't worry about it, dude. Limitless. Don't worry about it, man. I can tell you though, that if you internalize that, you're already screwed. Like, bro, you got to work on your mindset. The fact that you let that bother you is going to be a problem, right? Like the lack of confidence in general that you display here is holding you back in this area big time, bro. You got to work on your confidence. All right. You got to work on your confidence. So what? You got a sweaty hand. Who cares? It's not like she's turned off by you. Like, did she end the date? Did she not talking? You see what I mean? Your hand was sweaty. Oh, it's not a big deal, dude. Yeah. You gotta work on your card. We need to get you under a barbell more, son. You gotta fix your confidence. I can't help all you awkward boys, man. There's a limit. There's a limit to what I can do here, guys. You're gonna have to you gotta learn to man up, son. This is how it is. Because if you're letting stuff like that bother you, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna be frank, you're not a man yet. You gotta work on learning to be a man. Straight up, bro. Well, once you get under a barbell, get your confidence up and go do some lifting. But the things that you display here so far, you have not come into your own as a man. And I can tell you that. All right. So you got to work on that. You got to work on being a man. Thinking like a man. You know. So you're hyperefficient heat sensor. No, the fact that it even needs to be addressed is a problem. Like plasma, like even your response is not a man's response. A man really wouldn't care. Like, oh no, my hand was sweaty. Not a big deal. You see what I mean? Like, it's really not a big deal. You just wipe your hand off and go, oh yeah, I guess I was sweating. Wipe your hand off and then say, wipe your hand on your shorts, wipe your hand and go, oh, sorry, babe, my hand got a little sweaty. Wipe your hand off and grab your hand. It's all good, man. Done. That should be the whole situation. That's it. And that should have ended the whole thing, and you should have never thought about it again. Right? Anybody disagree with that? Right. Oh, do you know why I might be missing some of the chats? It was set to top chat. When it reset the stream, it reset everything, including what I always set to live to where I see all comments. But when it reloaded, it took all that down. So that's what happened. Getting stronger increases comment. Absolutely, man. Get under a heavy barbell. I don't know if all of them got seen, Peppermint. I have no way to know. Limitless, you have to step back and reassess how you comport yourself as a man. Absolutely. Yeah. So I had to go to live chat. So it had top comments only. Okay, I'll try. Instead, I said, okay, never mind. We don't have to hold hands. No, man. Just wipe your hand off. Just wipe your hand off, bro. Which one of those is more confident and secure? That's okay, man. So that's why you got Coach Blaha to lead you to the promised land. All right. All good, man. It's all good. I still got this long thread on Facebook dudes arguing about my barbell road form. So, do you guys want to see it? Hold on. Do you guys want to see it? Y'all want to see some comedy gold? My God. Hold on. Let me get it for you guys. All right, y'all ready? Oh. Did the volume drop? Let me adjust it. Hold on. The volume drops all the time. I have to turn it back up. Yeah. It's at 73%. Let me turn it back up to 90. Where it's supposed to be. It turns it down automatically. Did you know that Jesus Christ? You don't say. Benjamin. Wow, this is the first that I've known about this. Wait, no, wait, right? What? Well, guess we're all going to have to change religions now. We can't have that. It's all good, man. It's all good. can't be having that. But he found the way and he converted to Christianity the correct way, right? Whew. Oh, Lord. You know who else was also originally a Jew? Moses. Look it up. What does he think? I know, right? But read the comments. One of these guys, I'm a whole powerlifter. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a certain, like he's telling me, I don't know how another guy there's telling my row is not efficient and I'm not working. But, it's like, because, I'm known for my terrible back development in general. Do you guys know how much hate I get for all my back exercises? All day long. Like, for those of you who are in here don't realize the amount of negative comments that I get about the way that I perform every single back exercise. But then when I turn around and people see the back stuff, they're like, Jesus, dude, what do you do for your back? Your back is freaky. And in person, it's even the same way. Like, people are like, your back is massive. I hear from men and women both. They're like, your back is insane. So I've actually been told by someone, a woman I know, who's like, oh, no, on the internet, your back looks smaller than in person. I'm like, what? She's like, your back is bigger in real life than it looks like on the camera. She's like, it's actually almost freakish. So she actually had her say it almost ruins your aesthetics. Like, you should almost scale it down. So this is the reality of it, right? But then on the internet, you're not training your back. You're not training your lats. You're never going to build lats with any of the stuff you do. Your form is horrible on all my rowing, all my pull-ups, everything. All of it. It's all wrong. I've been criticized on my pull-ups, my barbell rows, and my dumbbell rows hundreds of times. One of my reels on Facebook showing dumbbell rows had 80,000 views, and there were 1,000 people telling me I was doing them wrong. And they were telling me I will never build my lats with the way I do any of these movements. But I'm using almost no momentum, Scott. They're actually fairly strict there in that video. They're actually fairly strict. They're pretty strict, dude. I was a quintessential hard gainer. I had to resort to a large pizza and 2 protein shakes on top of my normal diet to break 200. Wow. You can do it if you want to do it. Wow. Yeah, no, people hate on all my back work, and yet I have a big back. It's rather fascinating. Oh man, people are crazy. Had to resort to a large pizza and 2 protein shakes. Wow. I've had hard gainers. We just did peanut butter, natural peanut butter. All right, so your coach pulls and rows. And I think the thing is, like, all right, so let's take what that stuff was this last week. I mean, I do 225. So that's 102 kg for sets of 15 on strict barbell rows. When I do cheat rows, I actually put 315 on. I put 3 plates on and strap up. But I don't do that very often. See, we deadlifted 500 for 6 reps, this week. So, I mean, yeah, but you know, people hate on my stuff. And what's shocking to me, yeah, exactly. I row pretty dang strict, but then you go watch all these Mr. Olympias and they cheat like crazy, but nobody's over here clowning them. It's really strange, you know. Dudes want to jump all over my really strict rowing, but I'm like, so why don't you guys go to the videos of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, all these other guys rowing? Because they cheated like crazy. Yeah, the big dudes will cheat, but I cheat with 3+ plates too, and I want to do cheat rows, but I'm usually really strict. Yeah, they don't go say anything, but then it's not like I don't have a massive back. I mean, so that's why it's funny. I just don't get it. Yeah, your form is always good, right? And that's what's funny too. You'll see world record level powerlifters come and literally compliment my formal movements, and then other people look crap on it. You guys remember even Chris Duffin one time said, you know, he's like, I saw him make a post one time with this, posted, and I said, I don't know what people are talking about. Blaha usually has really clean form. He's like on everything. You know, the dude squats and deadlifts over 900 pounds and is a world level coach, you know, and he said that. So it's right. So it's very strange, you know, but again, these are armchair critics. It's quite strange, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, if any of you guys want to chime in on that thread I linked, go for it. Hit the likes, get that up. That's funny. Yeah. So, cheating means bad form. Limitless, not always. So understand that there's body English is going to be used to some extent on different movements. But I tend to be pretty strict in most of my stuff, right? On average, I'm actually stricter than most other people I see out there on freeweight movements. But there are ways you can use a little bit of body English that maintain tension, you know. Do you know what religion is the oldest? Documented, Benjamin, would be the religion of ancient Sumeria from the cuneiform text. Yeah. Yeah, we both said the same thing. Because we still have those writings. They're all rolled out. They're pressed into tablets for the rollers, and cuneiform is the form of writing. A lot of the Egyptian religion was borrowed out of there. People theorize that, but we don't have evidence. But look, there's overlap, right? And there's also overlap in the Torah from the cuneiform stuff too, right? They help to be religious guys like, do you feel better? Yeah, I think so. Limitless. Right. Yep. So the same thing, you take your great flood there and look how much it overlaps with the Epic of Gilgamesh. right? The fire from the sky narrative, right? Yeah. How would you get started if you want to like get Christian? There's churches in your country, Limitless. You said you're in the Philippines, right? Is that where you are? Go pick a church and go visit it or check it out. You know, dates back to an apocalyptic time around the time of the last ice age. Well, keep in mind the population bottleneck from the last ice age, right? Not that many people survived. This is why we laugh with all the people. Well, during the ice age, like everybody died. What are you talking about? Like these goofball. Well, all the people during that ice age up in Europe, they died. It's like they must have had to live on what? No, they died. You know, so that's why you got to laugh at these clowns. They theorize with no evidence, but enough to spawn in ancient religions, right? You know, but that's a pretty big time span, though. I mean, realistically, how far apart was Sumeria from the end of the last glacial period, Peppermint? This is a pretty big gap. Just saying. The issue is lack of writing. The reason we have the cuneiform is because it was pressed into clay. So the issue is that we don't really have other evidence. Yeah. So about 7,000 years between the ending of that last ice age and the first written religious text. You know. Yeah. The issue is the lack of written text to know what religions and traditions were there, because anything they were writing wasn't permanent enough. It's not that there probably weren't writings and different things. It's that they didn't survive. Like the paper only lives so many years. But that's the point, Peppermint. We don't know there wasn't writing because the cuneiform didn't come out of nowhere. We already have an existing writing system that is now pressed into clay tablets. Realistically, you don't think there were tons of other written languages that led to that? What do you mean? Okay, they're not stuff that was okay, plasma. It's not like this is something that was completely lost to history and no one had access to any. These are things that were kept. Okay. Does that make sense? It's not like these things were all buried and we dug them up. They were preserved. Cultures and kings and people kept and preserved these things, and scholars through different eras. So, like a lot of it was a lot of that cuneiform was like sitting in Baghdad, right, in the museums and stuff there. So, you know, and parts of the Middle East. So it's not like this is stuff that was all lost. And yeah, there's people who were able to translate it. So with any other writing, people can translate writings when you find them. There are people who are experts in decoding languages. Jason's a secret. Genetics, lots of cardio. It's cold in here right now, so my vascularity is way down. I don't believe in the Anunnaki, Charlie. Yes, I'm familiar with the concept. I'm actually familiar with the works of Zachariah Sitchin in his translations of the cuneiform. But as my haters say, Jason is really a stupid, uneducated individual. Right. They've got several texts on this. Is it an ongoing continual recapitulation of the other languages? Well, but also because people have kept records, right? Because I hope you know there's more people that like you. Yeah, I know that. I do get the problem is every time a new documentary comes out, I get a whole new wave of haters, right? So because another documentary was made by someone else remixing the same old nonsense, I'm getting a whole flood of Navy SEAL fake like I'm getting like an enormous flood of it again. About every 2 years, someone makes a new documentary, and so I get a big influx. That's been happening for a decade. Max and Sheena just made a video that dumbbell lateral raises are bad exercise compared to cable, yet they're studying compared cable versions of free weight and they produce equal gains. Exactly. Hebrew and Akkadian share a common language ancestor, right? Even Jeff never turned out to be a charlatan, right? Oh, we know Jeff. Jeff, keep in mind, remember the pillow? I find it curious. Yeah, I find it curious people are that obsessed with you. Right? Right? But then they're obsessed with the story. They're not obsessed with what I actually do. They have no clue what I really do. It's rather strange. Like they didn't follow that story in real time. They didn't realize the time period that happened in. We were coming out of the Alex Jones era. They didn't understand the obvious satire and the Tom Clancy quotes and movie quotes and all of it having fun. And then, they missed the later apology. So the problem is that it's been spun with that stuff that it was an ongoing thing that I did long term. Right. Like I literally had Revival Fitness say in a video that I did it for years and I doubled down on it. And he just made all that up. Yeah, they don't know the time period it was done in, how the internet was different and the time period I was coming out of. And then they don't realize I removed all of that content over a decade ago. And then I've made a 15-minute apology video years ago explaining the thing, issuing an apology. And people forget all that. So that doesn't really get mentioned in any of the stories. And I always wonder why all the other people who did the same thing weren't harassed to that degree, right? Why do all the other people with similar stories that were all over YouTube, why didn't they get stalked into backlash and, who their stories were crazier than mine, coming out of that period? There were even collaborations between different ones who all sat down and talked in round tables about their experiences. Yep. Doing all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of funny. I think people forget that. Like, what? Do you think Rich Piana's death changed the culture? I don't know if it did or not. Maybe. I mean, in his own way, Rich Piana was very influential, but not in a good way. Even Al Roberts had a downfall after COVID. Yeah, I didn't really see all the content, so I don't know. Right. But Rich himself was such an extreme, strange individual. All of the collagen and the implants and the whole act. Like that's what's fascinating to me, is that more people who look into that aren't aware of the whole backstory with Rich's life. It's like it was all public. So it was really strange to me that that wasn't, we didn't get Legends of Rich Piana like the Legends of Blaha. It was really strange because his own backstory was way more extreme and crazy than mine. You know, everything about the publicly available info and what his ex-wives and stuff said was such a more extreme story than anything about me. I'm surprised it didn't turn into a saga. Yeah, exactly. He's someone that could genuinely do it, right? You know, but people didn't do that. And it's like, okay, wait, you have a guy like the 5% nutrition. So I've got all these backstories from people, from insiders, because I've known two of his ex-wives and had conversations with them, right? Like his first wife took his company. So his first wife, who apparently even claimed domestic abuse, because he was married 3 times, all 3 of his wives claimed domestic abuse. All of them, 3 out of 3. Some of them with physical evidence. The first one, he lost his butt off in divorce court. She took like 90% ownership of 5% or something. Like Rich only owned like 3% of the company. So she was the biggest shareholder. She owned most of the company. She won it apparently in the divorce proceedings. She's the one who also had said in public she took him down to Mexico for all the PMMA injections. So she was public with all of that. Like it was, she talked about it. Like online, she went and talked about all the PMA injections in Mexico, all the procedures she took him to get all that collagen implanted. So all the arm and shoulder and everything. Well, he also had, you know, an oxy addiction on top of it, plasma. He snorted oxys, like crushed them up and snorted them. Which is why when he snorted the pre-workout, it wasn't a big deal. He was used to snorting oxys. Like this is all publicly known. Like all his exes and stuff talked about this. They all talked about it. Like this wasn't even deep rabbit hole stuff. Yeah. Like so this is stuff his various ex-wives revealed. You know. So you have all that backstory. Then you have the drug kingpin, right? And everyone knew. It's like we used to joke about it. Like other people, like I didn't know. Like you're not a real lifter with real connections if you didn't know Rich Piana was the man. Like if you didn't know that Rich Piana was a major roid pusher who had one of the better underground labs in the US, and he had a chemist named Red who did all his stuff for him. If you didn't know that, you can't say that you were connected at all. You had no connections in the lifting world if you didn't know that. Straight up. I'm just gonna be frank. You're nobody. You don't know anybody. If 12 years ago, 10 years ago, you didn't know that Rich Piana, that his lab was a big deal, and that Rich Piana walked around handing out free samples, gave people free steroids, just so more people would buy his stuff, then you don't know anybody. Like you literally are clueless. Like everybody knew this. We all knew this. We just didn't get up and talk about it in videos because, you know, we're not up here trying to out a major drug dealer in public. You know, like people aren't trying to bring that sort of heat back on themselves, but we all knew it. Plasma. I don't see Israel's PhD. So, yeah. I mean, I have some experience and with writing these, and yeah, that was pretty atrocious. Yeah, the doctor, in other words, right? YouTube drama is now still in arguing over PhDs, like right. But at the end of the day, we all knew that Mike's stuff wasn't based on science. He sells programs. His advice is geared around his programming advice is geared around selling apps and selling programs, not based on evidence. I mean, his physiology stuff is good. You know, Mike obviously gets stuff correctly when he talks about functions of things in the body, right? But in terms of the programming, none of it was based on any evidence. Like none of his programming ideas are based upon evidence. In fact, if you go back to his older videos, things that he pushes and sells, he said in older videos, the literature has not supported this at all. Right? You know, you're just hating Rich Gunners and he was, oh Lord, I'm not even hating on Rich, honestly. We're just talking about the history there. He's like, what are you talking about? Rich was twice my size. Rich wasn't twice my size even on drugs. What are you talking about? Twice? Tell me this dude was 400 plus pounds. Rich Piano was 400 pounds lean, natural. Yeah, you sound stupid. So, dude, be cray. All right, though, guys. I'm probably going to wind this down, get some other stuff done. We've had fun in here. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'll catch you guys on the stream this afternoon. I'm probably going to skip the midday one. Love you guys, and I'm out.